Thank you.
Okay. I don't believe that our second continuation has submitted any new materials on the solar panels for 125 North Broadway, ARB 1818. Okay, so we'll go on to the revisions. ARB 16-67. Been around a while. 48 Kingswood Close Landscaping.
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm waiting for the architect who is a...
Okay. All right. We will go on to new matters and come back to that. Okay, first new matter, ARB 18-20, 98 Highland Lane, windows.
Evening, Matthew Burns, I'm the architect for this application. It is a fairly straightforward, removing one window and then replacing some sliding glass doors that lead out to a patio with a door, with a pair of windows. Everything will match. Exterior elevations, where the windows are being removed, they're going to infill with the siding that will match all the trim, and the new windows on the other side, this is wrapped around on the other end, are all going to match the existing.
I didn't have any questions or issues with this.
This is already approved by Fieldmark, correct?
It is, yes.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
Second? Second, all in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay. We're ready. You ready? Okay, we'll go back to the revision, ARB 16-67, 48 Kingsley Close, landscaping.
Evening, my name is John Adams. I'm the architect for the owner. What we're here to present is just a few exterior elements. One, we've expanded this patio in the back, stone patio. We're proposing this stone walkway here and another stone walkway on the north side of the house next to the garage. And the only other element is a deer fence, a 6-foot-high, cedar fence from this corner of the house to approximately here where there's a rock outcropping, a fairly significant rock outcropping. And then from this point back, and then around here is a deer fence, which is expanded wire, dark color with rustic raw cedar posts. And then again, you have the cedar fence from here to this point, and then from here back, it's again the deer fence. And I have some better photographs of the deer fence, actually.
So that's the cedar one.
The photograph of the trellis, there is no trellis. It's just the square fence with the square gates. And that'll be left natural, so it'll go gray in a short period of time.
And that's the correct post op that you use?
Yeah, those are the posts we're using. So on one side of the house, this side It actually works to screen, there's air conditioning condensers and that sort of thing on this side of the house. And you actually won't even see it on this side because there's such a pitch, and there's a stone retaining wall here, so you won't actually see it from that side of the house.
Your fence is usually 8 feet high?
This was what our landscaper had proposed, so.
6 feet is an easy jump for a deer, but. There
I
we
mean,
are.
I'll talk to them.
Yeah,
If
I
you
mean-
think we should, if you'll approve something higher,
We'll approve either. I'm pretty sure that 8 is the standard height. My main concern was that it was a vinyl coated metal
Right.
wire. That's the main concern, really. Okay, I have nothing more. No concerns, anybody?
Yeah.
No concerns.
But just to clarify, so, because I'm looking at the description of work, so it's the new fence, is the only thing we're approving tonight, nothing else that was on that cover sheet.
Um,
There's just a handwritten notation, new stone walkway, front yard, new stone path.
Yeah.
That's all, that's already been approved.
that's been approved by the planning board, yeah.
And the regrading of the rear, so
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, everything else, I think, just goes straight through.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
There's a survey in there too.
Well, you know what? This is somebody else. Oh, yeah, that's that. On to ARB 18-21, One Bridge Street sign. Signs?
Sorry, I'm getting out my board. Hello, so you can see it. John DeMeglio.
Looks on the side. So where? I see that's right there on
I'm sorry?
There's a clip on the wall. It's on the side.
Oh, on the side there. I don't know if that's gonna help me.
John, like this? John, you want to clip it on this?
No, I think we're okay. John DeMeglio, I work with Eileen Fisher in the store planning department. What we're proposing here is Eileen's current presence in the space. We have 5 awnings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right now, she only has 1 logo up there right now. She felt that we needed to get a little bigger presence in regards to, signage in that area. So we're proposing adding some new logos and some new signage along those other 4. The awnings, it's the same awnings that are being used, it's just going to be taken down, reprinted and installed, so there's no change in the awning, and they stay the Bridge Street standard, black and...
So the new Eileen Fisher is going to be the same as the old one?
Yes, we're actually reusing one of them, correct. The other 4 would be new.
Okay. Prefer they do this from the start, but here we are again, not a problem.
Any
Anybody?
changes in my...
The only question I had was with respect to the awning ordinance that we have for one business. Are we restricted in any way to have that much lingo on each awning? Because I thought there was one case in the past.
Well, I look at it this way, the size of the frontage times 12 feet high is still well below.
Yeah, we did all the calculations.
What the amount is, it's about a tenth of what they could do, so.
And obviously the building department didn't give you any problems. They
No,
signed off
I
on
had
it.
done all the calculations with that and everything.
And obviously Bridge Street did
Yes.
as well.
Oh, yeah, Bill Thompson approved on everything, he signed everything correct.
Okay,
Okay.
no problem.
Any issues, concerns, anybody? Do I have a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good work.
Yeah, that's fine.
Guys, thank you.
Okay, moving on ARB 18-22, 3 Erie Street, pool.
Hi, Jan Johannesson from Kellard Sessions, representing Mike Bafoco and Stephanie Freed. This is 3 Erie Street. It's a pool renovation project. Existing pool is going to remain in place. We're going to rip out the existing concrete patio. The patio is actually getting reduced in size by about 300 square feet, 315 square feet. We're replacing the walkways with bluestone stepping stones. The patio itself is going to be a Unilock paver with a Unilock coping. We're also using the Unilock product for the step, and it'll be surrounded by a soldier course that will also be a Unilock product. We've received site plan approval from the planning board. We've received a couple of variances from the ZBA. We've addressed all the village engineer's comments. We addressed some comments by the consulting landscape architect. We have, about 28 trees, 77 shrubs, 87 perennials going into the plan. We have a pool fence that meets all codes. It's going to be black aluminum. There's a 5-foot solid wood, vertical wood enclosure for the pool equipment pad. We have some ground lighting, about 15 ground lights. They stand about 15 inches tall. They have like a 2.5 watt LED bulb in them just for some ground light.
Is there a cut sheet on the lights that are going to go in there?
Yeah, it's not in that packet. It's on our detail sheet. This guy here stands about 15 inches tall.
Okay, finish.
Did you pick a finish, Mike? Is it, I think it was like the light bronze.
It'll be, I think, on oil bronze to match.
Yeah, the oil bronze.
To match the lights that are on the outside of the house.
There's an outdoor kitchen. It's going to have a sink, a grill, a refrigerator. All the utilities will run on the ground.
So the picture of this kitchen is
Similar to what is being proposed. It's going to have a stone veneer facade and a blue stone top.
the Unilock. Do we have, I guess in here we have some ideas on colors?
Yes, the color has been selected. It's the Sierra color. It's in the packet.
Okay, those are the pavers.
Those are the pavers. Yep. And then the soldier course is not identified, but it's the Copthorne Old World Brick.
Okay. Just looking at the pictures now, going to the fence,
Yes.
the metal fence.
Black pool fence, 5 foot high.
And that shows the gate as well?
Yes.
You gonna have this double gate or just a single gate?
There's a double gate at this entrance off the driveway and a single gate on the other side to the backyard.
Pool equipment fence, the privacy, that's the natural cedar, but it's gonna be painted?
It's going to be stained green. That won't be visible. That won't be visible from the
And you're
street.
showing that door, why? That's gonna be the door to get into that
Yeah, there's
area?
a door on this side of the enclosure to get into the pool equipment enclosure.
I think the village's landscape architect is far better to review this. I know she has, and I'm not gonna bring up any questions about this.
We're also not removing any trees.
Okay. And I saw that you have a plan to protect what's there as it is.
Correct.
Okay. Those are my questions. Anybody? No. Please? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. We're so excited. We've been waiting forever for this pool.
Get ready for the sign.
Thanks, everyone. Yes, thank you so much.
Nice update, enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you.
Now moving on to ARB 18-23, 10 South Broadway sign.
Hi, my name is Salah Foda for the tenant of 10 South Broadway. The sign basically consists of aluminum channel lettering, individual lettering, with just simple subdued highlight of LED tiny lights to just highlight the lettering. And the sign is basically 10%, 10.2% of the square footage of the exterior wall, and we under the allowed heights of the lettering. And we basically asking for approval for the sign to go ahead and build it.
Okay.
The highlight, the LED light and highlight of the lettering as well is here. A circle.
Are you the owner of the company? I'm sorry.
No,
I am.
where is the,
And you're the,
I am with the architect, Christopher.
Well, let me tell you my issue with the sign, and we should open it up to other members of the board. We have been doing our best to try to eliminate, especially in the Broadway corridor, lighted signs. LED, you know, whether it's dimmable or not, can be, you know, quite eye-catching, and I'm sure that's the reason for it being lighted. However, there are some neon lights in that corridor that we'd love to see go away, but they're grandfathered. So at this point, I don't think that I can approve a lighted sign of this nature. I will open it up to other board members, but at this point, we're trying to, especially in the Broadway corridor, get away from this particular look. Anybody?
well, just out of curiosity, so for the owner, so this is a business that's independently owned and operated, but are you mandated to
Yes,
have
I'm a
one or two
franchise.
types of? Okay,
Yes.
So are that piece of paper you just handed, or at least your architect just handed out, is it an option whether you have an awning versus a lit panel versus illuminated? And
Yes,
that's your choice out
this
of
is
those
my
options?
choice because of the two businesses on either side. One of them, the deli, has a awning that protrudes out and is, I feel putting another awning there is it's too crowded really. And then also the tavern sign that sticks out is very, you know, it's protruding as well. So I thought this is a nice, modern looking sign. It's you know, an expensive sign that wouldn't show a lot of wear and tear. And I think my concern is I would really like to have the LED just because I feel as though the sign will get lost among the tavern signs to the right. You know, I think it's pretty tastefully done. It's actually a franchise, so It's been done across the country in other places, and it looks very nice and tasteful. And I've done the inside, we've done the inside very nice and tastefully, so.
It's not going to be as distracted as a standard illuminated
No, yeah.
big box of glass sign with multiple light fixtures inside. It's not going to be that way. Just a tasteful, subdued highlight on the lettering. It's not really projecting, it's not distracting. It's just a bit of highlight.
Have you
You
considered,
consider it as a white paint on the lettering, and that's probably the effect.
and have you considered the lettering without the illumination?
Yes, but it's, again, I was just worried that it would be, lost next to the tavern.
Okay, and just to be clear, so for purposes of the franchise, though, these are the options you're allowed, right?
Yes.
The awning, the lit panel, the non-lit, or the illuminated, that looks more like a plastic panel. Personally, I think that going in the direction of this sign opens the Broadway corridor up to a different look, something that may be more akin to something on Central Avenue, quite frankly, than I see for Broadway. We are trying to keep, and we have a historic district that's just around the corner, and while technically this building may not fall within the historic district, the objective here for the ARB is to make sure that the signs are in keeping with the neighborhood, and I would consider this building still to be, part of the neighborhood. So I'm personally not comfortable allowing or approving rather a sign of this nature because we just don't have any of its type in the village. I hear what you're saying in terms of marketability. You want to stand out, but I think you have other. I think you have other options.
It's because upkeep, I, like the wooden signs, they just don't keep up as well. And the awning on the left, the deli on the left looks crappy, and the bar on the right looks crappy, and to be quite honest, I think I would understand more if it was on Main Street, but we're on Broadway, and there's a tow yard right there too, so this is a nice, clean, modern sign that's going to show less wear and tear, I think, than some of the other options, and it actually is costing me more money to do it this way. I could go the cheap way,
No, I
and then
appreciate
it
that.
will look, but I don't think it will look as nice.
I
you know?
appreciate that.
Yeah.
The problem that you point out is exactly our concern, is that, the way this block looks at the moment is less than ideal, to say the least. So to start introducing a variety of signs, none of which are gonna look cohesive, I think is gonna make it look worse. And that's just the problem we have in front of us. So I personally would not approve the sign as is proposed. I could consider it if it wasn't illuminated in the back, but as the way it stands now, and mere fact that you have other options available to you as a franchise also leads me to believe this is not the best option for the village.
Right, I'm sorry to say, I think I feel the same way, and I went back and I read all the signage wording and the zoning of it, but, so it's not that it's not allowed. And I do see that they have a yellow wall similar to the one that's there. It's a lot of signage for the small amount of yellow wall. I know it's allowed technically, but if you look at the brick building behind the one with the awning, it almost seems more appropriate, so, I don't know. I just think there are other considerations. So.
What do the architects say at the end?
I have to agree, and I'm definitely one to not diminish someone's ability to market their business. But if you're worried about wood, there's composite dense foam products that you can laser cut into that are very durable and will hold paint an extended period of time. And you can make a nice wide board and cut and recut into it, recess, put the colors on it, light it from above with beautiful lights that wash across it and give it a more village feel rather than a sort of strip mall feel. So I would have, like, this just won't
If you look at
look
the type of
great
lights
right
that
there.
are illuminating the River City Grill sign, comes off the top.
No,
just
I
lights the
know.
sign.
I just felt like I was gonna get lost next to the tavern.
I don't think
To
you
be-
would. I mean, if you actually did
Yeah.
a big sign that
Yeah.
was actually, the back of it was a blue like this, with the light letters that are cut into it, and then have lights washing across it, it's gonna actually look better than what you're doing. It's gonna cost you a fraction of the money too, I'm sure, and it's gonna be something that we can approve. Because this just definitely is, it's not the right look for here.
I think your business it's a great idea. It's going to be welcomed in the village. I think that this is, your colors are good. I think it's going to stand out. I really
You
do.
probably don't even need a sign to be successful around here, but, that's a different story.
And I think you have a wood sign, doesn't your wife, Andrea? We've had a wood sign. on
No,
my
it's
husband's
dense, it's a dense
business.
foam,
It
because the
is.
wood rots.
Well, ours is actually wood.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
the
ours
foam
is
is
a hand,
amazing,
and we've
though.
had to paint it once or twice in probably 30 years, so.
Yeah, I mean, we could consider that too. do we have to come back to the board then at the next meeting? Okay.
Okay, my question is, would you consider the sign as it is without the highlighted lights behind it?
Without being
Without-
illuminated by
yes.
LED?
Yes.
No, the dimensional cut of it is still a very strip mall look, not a village look. It's just not the right sign for there, in my
Sit
opinion.
up board?
Yeah.
I think the option being proposed by Andrew is the best option for you in light of your concerns and the type of business that you have.
Rather than take a vote to not allow it, do you want to come back at the next meeting with an alternative? Rather than start the whole process over again?
No, yeah, we don't.
Yes.
I will come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Moving on to ARB 18-2445 Half Moon Lane, landscaping.
Good evening. I'm Dave Gober, owner of 45 Half Moon Lane. It's under my wife's main name there. I apologize, we don't have a poster. Unfortunately, we were told kind of last minute that we needed ARB approval. We do have planning board approval and
Thank you. Find it closer to your session. Here when I got you.
and we had received zoning board approval for the lot coverage as well. Basically, we're taking an existing bluestone patio that's kind of fallen into disrepair, removing it and putting in a new bluestone patio. We're expanding it slightly out to an existing hill on the property and putting in steps so that we can, so that we and our kids can access that elevated area where we have a swing set right now, or it's kind of hard for our 2- and 5-year-old to get to. And then we're also, the only other, we're also adding a sitting wall around that area just to support the steps. And we're also extending the driveway slightly just to add some extra parking on our relatively narrow street for when we have guests.
Could you talk about the decorative patio that is extended from the flagstone patio? Do you have anything?
This is gonna match the existing, right?
It's going to match, well, so the existing we're removing just because it's all lopsided now. It's actually causing drainage problems. So we're having the existing one removed, but replaced with basically a very similar bluestone patio. And so this is just an extension of that same bluestone.
So the entire patio is being replaced?
Yes.
And what's the stone in the retaining wall?
Yes, I'm not 100% sure it'll match the bluestone. As of right now, I think we were just planning on a matching flagstone or bluestone that was.
I'm surprised the building department didn't tell you to be more specific.
Yeah, I apologize. The building department, I actually called this afternoon to ask if there was anything else that we should know. I mean, we've been going through this process, unfortunately, for quite a while with the planning board and the zoning board. And unfortunately, our contractor,
Just call it a fieldstone wall and just say bluestone patio to match existing and a fieldstone wall.
sure, it's a bluestone patio to matching the fieldstone wall.
It does actually say that. It actually does say that.
Does?
It's a fieldstone wall. Fieldstone.
It does? Yeah.
Although it says field
Zoom
summer
to
too.
page 2? Oh, here you go. Okay.
You're a genius.
All right, anybody have any additional questions, concerns? No. Ladies? No? Okay, we have a motion to approve.
So move.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
That's yours. You can have that one too. All right, next is the ARB 18-25, 200 Riverview Road. Also landscaping issue?
Do you want the copies? Did you want it?
Good evening. I may need an assist also because I'm also the owner and not the expert who drew this up.
Just say if you have someone in doubt.
I'm texting him right now. What's the name of that stone? We had an existing concrete patio that we improved by replacing it with bluestone. This is the photo, and you can see the bluestone. In the process, we discovered that we needed a permit, so this has been going on for a couple of years now. And in the process of getting the permit, we went to the zoning board, we went to the planning board, everything's been approved, we have approvals for everything, we're just here to get the permit for building and for approving the bluestone.
Okay. I had a question on all the applications I looked at over the weekend. I'm not sure what I meant. So don't see where on the drawings. The drawing says topsoil and seed,
Right.
and this says bluestone patio.
Right, so I think I know what you're referring to. So initially, what you can see here was the footprint of what was previously there. We ripped that out, literally, it's, I don't know, 2.5 years ago now, and we're replacing it, and then discovered that the prior owners had actually not legalized it, and that's we did our title search, it was never caught. Apparently, they had an approval for the pool itself, but not the paving around the pool. So we had the stop work order. So in the process of getting the ZBA to approve the variance, we are not going to be paving around the pool. So see how that's empty? That's never going to get filled with bluestone. That's going to be the topsoil and the grass. So we're just pretty much approved. It's already there. We're pretty much legalizing and just cleaning up.
Okay, that's what confused me.
It's confusing.
Okay. Anything else here? Nothing? Questions? Good. We have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Another happy,
Did you want any copies of case? Wine. All right, enjoy your pool. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. ARB 18-26, 99 Bracebridge Lane, windows.
John Malone, Ferguson Malone Architecture.
This is an interesting renovation, by the way.
Oh, cool. We hope so. We have an interesting client.
A real artist.
The real thing. So this is the building a lot of you are probably familiar with because of its visibility on the aqueduct. The goal of the project was to develop it as a studio, a painting studio, trying to maintain the historic character and also sort of regularize the facade in a way that would help its read. So what we've done here is the bond on this wall here, I think, is one of the most beautiful bonds, like this stone bond here. So we're going to focus on that. We're going to replace the windows in this area with typical wood window that would fit the existing openings instead of the closed down. And then here we're eliminating all the windows, these upper windows. It's hard to tell what's original in the barn or what isn't, but I mean, I don't think that there's any, reason to maintain any of those. On the facade facing the house, we're just simplifying this. There's a loft space above, so that window's being opened for storage, but then we're simplifying this facade. This is what they see from their house. And then on the side, facing the driveway area, we're eliminating this door. Again, it's to make maximize the communal space for the Dondo's relatively large size painting, and then the large size paintings, and then the facade facing south. If you notice on the barn, there was a foundation, like an older foundation that was, we believe the barn went all the way to the property line to the south, and there's a rubble foundation that looks like it predates the one that's there. And it seems from the way the structure has, what's left of the original structure is it sort of got sliced off. So either this was the addition to the original barn that is now collapsed, or something like that. So this south wall we're sort of making, that's sort of our play on it, is that we're going to leave it as if it's sliced off. And this is where the light's coming in. So you see on the elevations, we're bringing in all the daylight.
Is that, John, the reason why you're changing the siding on that elevation only?
Right. So that elevation now has a vertical siding on it that's held together with like...
But it is similar to the rest of the other side.
The other side's a shingle, right? So
Not even a full wall.
it's not a full wall, it's sort of held together with like, chewing gum and cobwebs or something, so it holds together. So we're making a reference to the vertical siding there also, but this side is meant to feel like the building's just been sliced off, and this, we're trying to make this read all glass or black or dark. In the drawings, we've indicated this as painted the same color as the red, and what Don and us at the time done, the windows that we're proposing, the new windows are like a bronze color, like a darker color, would be to maybe take the color of this down also, so that it was the same as the frames, and so this whole end sort of reads as a dark.
What color's the trim?
It's all red.
It's all red.
Yeah, everything's red.
No, I know it's red now, so it'll be red again?
Yeah.
All of it.
Well, I think the thing that's not entirely clear is like, what are we doing on this corner? Like whether the red, like that's what we had thought. Like right now is that this is shown that the trim around here would also match the trim on the rest of the building. The question is, this wood siding that's infilled here, should that be the red too, or should it try to read more like a window, like a glass? Yeah, like a glass.
So all the windows, John, are gonna have the bronze color, all the windows in the
They
house.
are. They're all gonna. These are really like a brick mold condition, so there's not a lot of frame. The goal would be to maximize the amount. And then here, the trim would be painted red. Right, this is the goal. That the trim would be red. Only the clad portion would be
I
bronze.
like the idea that you're cutting this, however, the trim on the corners does it turn the corner of the trim?
Yeah, there is a piece here, and so that's where we need to be resolved. You have to find some way to
Because I
resolve.
think if you were trying, I guess it's the sort of how simple a diagram do you want? Do you want it to be the shape, right, the shape of the barn, or do you want to have a triangle on top of a rectangle on top of a square? It just, I'm not sure. And the other thing I was going to say was about when I looked at it, I was wondering if, it's a hard one, it's a really tough one, do you align the windows in some way, the lower windows?
This again.
Again, you're trying to maximize surface area.
And then this is also kind of a privacy move, like so that, this gives you long views to the south on the aqueduct when you're in the building. If we make it too much bigger, it puts Don kind of on display while he's painting. So that's the reason for having it sort of.
I'm talking about inches, or, I'm not talking about moving it all the way over. But
Then also, just so you guys know,
is that the thickness of the wall? Does that represent the thickness?
it's the existing wall. It may actually end up, this whole thing may have to slide over.
Yeah.
Because
Why not do
we
that?
may have to insulate that. We could just do that. And bring it down into some relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Nice detail, but I think it would help to clean out the thickness of that wall.
Yeah. This,
Once you blank off that wall, right, you lose all the windows on it, it becomes plain, right? Just, it wants to, you want to read the height. And the gutter?
the gutter right now shown as existing. Gutter meter, you know, honestly, I think that was just to try to limit costs, but honestly, it's probably gonna have to be upgraded at some point. I think the right thing would probably be to
I
do
think
it.
this is very much the right thing to do, all the
Right.
things that you're doing, especially for Don. I don't have my argument about South Lake, but that's an artist's choice.
I thought I was smart like that too. I was like, you want South Life?
Light, he wants light.
Nice vision. Nice to see it being upgraded as opposed to.
If I had to make one comment, John,
Spit it out.
I would say that
Do you know?
I would make the 3 little square windows slightly rectangular because that feels like the proportion of the building and all of the other openings.
You mean tall
That's
rather
just-
than, no, you're
That's-
saying just
yeah,
because they're
just
a little too long?
yeah, they're square, there's nothing else square, everything else is more vertical.
Yeah. It's driven a little bit by the interior plan. We
that's
could
fine.
pull it down a little bit.
No, I'm
Nah,
just
it's
saying,
your-
it's your,
Your design.
No, my thing
You
is
gave us
like,
something to
when
chew on.
I
You're
go to a
chew on
rectangle,
it.
it has to go all the way to like it needs to be sort of golden, like it needs to be a
Right,
little
yeah,
bit
right,
longer.
right, so it's gonna
So
get
then you're
thick.
gonna be sitting on the
all
toilet,
right,
you
whatever,
know.
it looks amazing, great.
I don't know, I believe in cheating the square, right? I believe you can cheat the square.
Like up a little taller?
Yeah, because you're.
Excuse me.
doesn't look square.
I thought
And
that,
who are you, sir?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. But we liked the square because it seemed to bring it more into the agricultural kind of genre.
There you
You know, imagine the horses in the little square windows.
Oh, yeah, like this table.
And a lot of it, this decision was for the interior function as well.
I like the square.
Great.
Yeah, but what they're saying is it's
Right,
starting to
old
look,
Broad on Harriman.
that side is getting a
Are
little
you
closer
doing
to
a ridge mount
postmodern.
on this?
Are we doing a ridge vent?
It what?
Ridge vent, or we have to vent the thing? No, because going cathedral, it's gonna be insulated without venting.
Okay. I'm just waiting for the chimney. Okay.
Do you guys have any other questions?
No,
Any question?
No, great.
Concerns? Nothing? No.
What kind of art do you do?
we already talked too long, didn't really make it.
Gotcha.
Do I have a motion to approve the application?
So
moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, John, congrats, good luck. So you want these floating?
Yeah.
We'll try not to drop in.
Please do, Jeff. I'll go away. We got off easy on that
Come
one.
on.
They didn't have to bring out the big guns.
Hey, Mark, you stepped up.
Yes, you already said that. You already said that.
Okay, moving on. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. ARB 18-27, 12 Hudson Road East, fence. Thank you.
Bye now.
I colored in the owner. I don't know if I'm supposed to have her thrown them down.
Just say Fieldstone. and fine.
It's not fieldstone, there's a wooden fence and it's kind of rotting and so we have to, and we're just gonna replace the whole thing exactly where it is, exactly the same height.
So my question is, that's the proposed fence?
It's kind of like that. It looks, yeah. That's the,
Unfortunately, we can't deal in kindness.
Really?
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I mean, this is what we're replacing.
right, I mean, it looks like ones are also on this street. He said this was a pretty close cross section, but what it is it's like a, I wish I brought this. Okay, so this makes it look shorter, but it's basically like thin slats, but they're close together, but there's a tiny little bit of space in between them. They're like other ones on the street have the same fence. That's also 5 foot, it just goes up a little bit, there is a line.
Is there anything in the application that says exactly what the model for the fence is? And I can hang my hat on that.
Correct. model number is. Kansas style. Can you look up on the internet what Kansas style is? It's from this company. Would you want to go to someone else for the send a picture of the
We
internet?
only have one more, so.
Okay.
Well, let me just ask you another question then while he's looking. So just to be clear, so
Honestly, the other one along the road looks a little more like taste, I don't know, like this, no one else had cross hatches on our street, and we're like, well, maybe we should make it like everybody else's.
right. Well, there's very few, right? There's not that many fences on this street, is there?
No, there's like two, there's like one like on our block, and then there's one on the other side of Broadway. And they both, I think, have the style that we're proposing.
Okay, and, okay, so
Which
this-
way is the house that we're replacing?
It's-
We're just looking at it.
It's 12 Hudson Ridge.
And that one I got,
Oh, okay. So
towards
You might-
Broadway, or
let me show you, okay, so if I go
is
on
it
Google
towards
Maps.
Broadway or away from Broadway?
Well, there's one that is on the,
west side,
on the, closer to the aqueduct.
yeah, on Hudson
Has
Road.
a fence like on National Arms. That is
But you're on Hudson Road east.
so it's, I guess, 2 blocks the other way. This house,
Lori here.
Okay.
probably between Hancock and.
Yeah, that's Lori Levy's house.
So that's the style that I thought seemed more in keeping, I guess, with the community. But I mean, if you want to do the craft hatch, I guess, what do I try?
So my question is, so you're the new owners of
Yeah.
this house, and so on Hudson Road East, you're one of the few houses that has the fence on the street. Most of them are set back.
But ours is pretty far set back
Set
too.
back.
Isn't one portion of it set on Hudson Road that you're looking to replace?
Oh, yeah, one portion of it is, and that's, like immediately beside it is like an
Right.
asphalt basketball court. So I think it would be unsightly to have it on the, not cover it. And it has like a hedge of trees of like, not trees, of like, not azaleas, rhododendron. So there's rhododendron
This is the question.
and then a fence, and then behind the fence is an asphalt basketball court.
So that's it, okay.
So that I think would be.
Is it gonna be wood or plastic?
Yeah,
Real wood.
right, I remember that.
Yeah, we have that here.
Wood painted. This other one.
Yeah, the one across
It's
the-
terrible, it's plastic, it's like
Which one?
one of them block over from you. It just looks so
Yeah, so it's not that.
fake.
Yep. But the one that, yeah, I mean, it's, what's it,
White cedar vertical slats with a space in between them,
small space.
small space in between them.
Yeah,
What more do we need?
5 foot.
This is obviously a kind of custom-made fence, it's not a,
But,
something that would probably have a long number, so.
but Newmont, it's gonna happen.
That's a 6-foot white pine, except section of it is 4 foot,
Not, it's 5 foot, right? It's right below my head.
5 foot high.
Yeah, isn't that what it says? Did I typo it wrong?
6-foot wood places, wood fencing replaces.
On the invoice for the.
It says 5 feet here, it says 5 feet there.
Yeah.
It says 5 foot on the,
They did not drive over to see this one. You are this one.
sorry, I didn't see this.
Take your time.
On Newmont's quote, it says 5
Yeah.
feet, and I'm pretty sure it is, because it's right below my eye level, or right up eye level.
It says it right here. It does say it on their quotes.
No, I have that, but it also says here,
That's, I guess, something we took a picture of from your, I mean, that's from the records here in the town, right? So I don't know what.
How the
right
town
now-
puts
right
these
now it
applications
says-
together and given us is so bizarre.
Right now, it's 5 feet. I mean, it's not, we are asking, like, it is not 2 different heights right now. Right now, it's all 5 feet.
so total footage 182, stained white, cedar Kansas style fence, 5 feet high. With the 3 gates?
She says white
Right, there are
pine.
3 gates right now.
4'6" times 5, 5 times 5, and 5 times 5. Let's take away.
Chris, the only thing I don't understand is, so the portion of the fence that's closest to Hudson Road East, it looks like it has a shed in the corner.
Yep.
That's where the basketball court is, where the shed is.
Right, kind of on the, on the,
Because I see you have a hoop here, so the shed is behind.
right, the shed is right behind there, exactly.
Okay.
And then the rhododendron is kind of.
Okay, so that's not grass behind that fence, that's actually asphalt that you use.
It's asphalt,
Okay, and you're keeping that, because
yeah, I didn't plan on changing it, but it's.
because it's the only thing that jumps out at me is that your fence in that section is the only one that's that close to Hudson Road. Usually the fences are set back a little bit further on this particular street. And I know that one house, the ARB in the past, didn't allow the fence to come that close to the road because it wasn't in keeping with the neighborhood. So you're replacing a fence that's not, is out of the ordinary for that street.
I definitely think it would be a bad idea to, I mean, it's unsightly, you know, it's like a black asphalt.
I would prefer.
Oh, yeah, no, I just meant, but if you're gonna keep the asphalt, then I understand.
Yeah, we don't have any plans.
You don't have any plans to remove it.
That would be, maybe someday. Whatever expense.
Any other questions?
So we have a handle on what's going on.
It's all on the new distributors. It's just, I was expecting to see a cut sheet on the particular gates and the actual fence style, but in fact, it's not a, off the shelf piece of equipment that's custom made, so. Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good luck. Do I need to like?
No, what you can do is just call the building department the next day or so, and he will arrange to get you your permit.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. On to our last application, 18-28, 3 Oak Street, addition.
John Malone, 31 Architects, representing Brian and Marcy Cuff. This is one of the more radical projects we've put in front of you.
Take it slow.
No. So this is the existing house on the street, Dutch gable and false Dutch gable. We're basically extending it. We looked at different ways to extend the building, and it made more sense to just turn it into a 3-bay from a 2-bay unit. So that's what's happening. I joke about it being radical because it was radical at the planning board level. I don't think it is here.
I don't know what that's saying, but we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's really the goal. Right now, the entry is sort of in this location here. Yeah. So the entry's been dropped into the center of the new building. The size of the new building is related to the existing. It has features that are related to the inside. This is a side yard elevation that's planted very heavily between the existing buildings. So the fact that there's no fenestration on this window, on this side I don't think that has any impact.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, it's an odd, this is, if you know the neighborhood, it's like, it's between Tanya Hunt's house and their Hunt, and it's heavily planted, and it's, where the condensers are gonna go. It's not something that needs windows. And then this facade also is the one that's facing south to the rear yard. It doesn't have, there's not a lot of visibility to that, the way that's planted. And that has to do with the implications sake of the diagram. And, that's about it. In terms of finishes, it's extending the existing stucco, the windows. Brian's already replaced the windows with a Marvin unit, and these are going to be similar or the same line, so there shouldn't be anything there. Oh, and then there's this portico.
Did I relocate the chimney? Because that was centered.
Yes.
How are we going to do that? It's a Harry Potter kind of thing.
You're going to match it symmetrically is what you're doing.
All right, we should drop one on there. Yeah. So this is a new portico that's being added, which is just sort of related to the existing roof line.
Is that the only place you're introducing lighting on the outside?
Yes, I think that was the only new lighting that we're showing on the exterior.
Any info on that?
This, no, we don't know what it is, we're just showing a pendant. I think it would be sort of,
It's actually existing. It's a kind of a nautical sort of bubble glass pendant. Very simple. It's hanging.
It's been
there.
very used.
Yeah.
Is the glass, does the door have glass in it?
No.
no.
That's your wife.
What's that?
You would have gone for the glass, but we kept getting pushed back.
And it's such a tiny house. There's so many windows. It's like you can't get away from the glass. It's like a fishbowl. You know. So
Just hide in front of the front
Yeah.
door. Any other questions?
Very nice.
Just, nice job.
It's not as exciting as the little barn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
That's nice, that's the end of this one.
Motion
That
to
would be
approve the
cool.
application?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. When it comes to,
This John, nobody will.
that's why they brought the extra hand today, to help carry that.
You miss us, we miss you.
Yes.
I'm sure you're happier.
Oh, I'm sure it's great.
I bet you are.
Yeah.
We miss you
She
too.
didn't, she's still so undecided. What about you?
Okay,
She has only a few
I started to tell everybody before about the issue of the paperwork. I did speak to Ed, and frankly, he's more frustrated than we are because he's been asking for 3 years to do this. When he had the time to do it, up until as recently as January, he asked them, because they have to change the codes in order for them to do that. We also have to go to one meeting a month, and it will be the third Wednesday of the month.
That doesn't make any, none of that makes any sense to satisfy the request that I have of just getting emailed to PDF rather than
Because how he tracks it is what's important.
It's the building department can email, the applicants email into the building department, the building department emails out to us the same day they deliver the paperwork. It makes no sense.
He's telling me what they do.
Yeah,
I
get
explained it
it.
just the way you just described it. I said, why can't we do that? And I mean, I partially understand the whole tracking situation, because as it is, he doesn't have enough people to, because he has, obviously, he takes the paperwork that he's about to execute, and, you know, makes other copies for the field and for the owner. He's just afraid that they'll lose track of that. Now, in order to, well, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it does. He does, right now, he doesn't have the manpower to do it. I mean, I don't know how we would feel about going to one meeting a month, only because 100 applications a year, so that would just increase
It's
the
not fair
load.
to people to do that.
Well, that's it too. Now, the other thing is, I go to once a month. Well, because the paperwork, the tracking of the paperwork goes, we'd have to wait. Yeah, we'd have to wait for the planning board to finish executing their stuff. And then 10 days later, we can have our meeting because that's the waiting period.
It's fine, it seems antiquated.
Did we do a little bit of research work and talk to some other villages, see what they can do about this? Because it just seems.
It doesn't have to affect the paperwork because they're releasing the content to us on a certain day of every month, right? Somebody's driving that paperwork and dropping it to our office. What they could do is keep their process exactly as it is. They would require the applicant to submit 5 less sets of drawings and email to a town account or a third-party Gmail account a PDF of the file. The building department would then release the PDF of that file to the board members on the same day that they deliver it, thereby not affecting anything with their system. They're still stamping paper, keeping it in their file. We're still having 2 meetings a week. And then we just engage that email to open the PDF files. Done.
Right.
This is not
What happens?
like,
So then he has to deal with 5 different,
nope, it's just one account that we all
no,
have.
5 yeah, one account, but,
We all just go into it and open the PDF
and do what? Just read it?
and look at it. We all have technology. I mean, I can.
No, the point is he's afraid there's gonna be 5 different sets of comments.
We're not giving him comments. We're still coming to the meeting with the PDF. There's no, Rick, there's nothing's changing. It's just we're showing up at the meeting
With an
with
iPad.
either an
Yeah, we'll put it
iPhone or
online.
iPad, or we don't even need to do that. We can all just have our own digital device. The applicant does the same thing, and it's our individual responsibility to look at it in the PDF format, which we're all capable of doing. Because we email each
That's why I
other all the
explained
time, so I understand.
But-
We can all do that.
Well, I'll continue the conversation, but
I think
he
what,
says the
I think
person
what I'm
has
saying
to have
actually,
his-
I
has to have it changed.
think what I'm saying actually makes their life easier, but I understand bureaucracy, it's change. So change isn't about being easier, it's just about being able to manage change. But I get it, they got a system, I mean, a guy like drives, I didn't even realize I saw it the other week, a guy drives around and like.
But he already has a system to work out to change this. It's a matter of implementing it, and that's why the trustees have to be involved.
Right.
Because they have to change, there's several codes that have to be changed, including the one we meet.
Right.
Believe it or not, that's in the code.
Forget about the paper, that drawing set that John Malone just gave us for this cup, that just cost them like $20.
No, that's their cost, I'm sure they were billing much more than that.
Yeah, I know, I bill it a lot. I bill like $4 a sheet.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like, it's just bizarre.
Well, and at the same time,
I thought we had agreed.
that's the stuff that comes to the planning board, I can almost see.
Listen,
But
this is nothing,
everything
I
else,
just submitted
the
a windows,
windows,
they made us send 20 sets of drawings.
Wow.
20 sets of drawings.
Yeah. And that's if you only went there once.
Oh, yeah, we went 3 times.
Yeah. That's
So
six.
what if they get the hard copy that you can access at the building department if you needed it?
Well, that's fair, anyway.
Yeah,
If you need to go look at a drawing, you can go to the building department anytime. They
But
don't
they're,
say- they
I
don't-
felt that way from
in Rich, if
That's
that's
why
20
it's not
sets,
back there.
we have to FedEx it to each person.
Wow.
Yeah. They don't care. They're like, whatever.
All right, well.
You want to build here
It'll-
yourself?
We'll continue, I'll continue the conversation
Yeah,
with them.
anyway, it's just better for everybody. I mean, it's, because you can zoom in and out of a PDF and you
Well,
can
like
see
I
it.
started to say, the stuff that goes to the planning board, I can almost see the problem.
Yeah.
The other stuff
Right.
that the planning board never sees that we do, windows.
Right. Right.
At least you can represent we're all in agreement that we can
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
for anymore.
All right,
Are we adjourned?
motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Wait a minute.